Thank you so much, Chizoba, and a bigger thanks to you, our viewers, for having kept us company from the start of this program right up to this point. This is once again today with John and Helen live, and we are coming your way from PlusTvAfrica.
Yes, we promoted 3 guests in our introduction. 2 are out of the way, and we're set to meet and tackle the final topic.
And what a pleasure it is for me to bring in our final guest today, an astute emotional intelligence and wellness expert, popularly known as the Pain Doctor, after his best-selling book, Pain is a Gift. My guest is a certified NLP master practitioner and cognitive behavioral therapist, and currently he's president of Business School, Netherlands Toastmasters Club, with several awards in public speaking. Tosin enjoys creating inspirational content, deploying his storytelling skills and wisdom quotes with a lifelong goal to impact before he departs. With over 9 books to his credit, Tosin Imoghiemhe is involved in the training of individuals and organizations in various subjects. Let's talk how to heal from pain with the Pain Doctor himself, Tosin Imoghiemhe. How are you?
I'm very well.
Thank you for joining us.
Good to see you. So you're welcome, Tosin, to the show.
Yeah.
And let's move straight to the business. I have pain all over me.
Emotional, physical?
Just a potpourri of pain. So you're widely known as the Pain Doctor.
Yes.
You know, following the success of your book, which is Pain is a Gift. Okay. What actually inspired you to write this book, and how do you define pain as a gift?
Okay, let me start with your complaints about having pains all over your body. There's a quote by the great philosopher Plato that says, "It's only the dead that have seen the end of war." What it means is that as long as you're still alive, you go through one pain or the other. If you go to the cemetery now and open a coffin, you pick a knife, you push it in, stab you, and the dead can't feel pain. So when you feel pain, it's an indication that you're still alive. There's some sort of a physical, a medical condition called cognitive congenital indifference to pain. There are people that don't feel pain for no reason. So they can put a knife and start stabbing themselves and they won't feel it.
That's possible?
Absolutely possible.
Living human beings?
Yes, absolutely possible. It's a medical condition. So pain pain helps us. Pain helps us, it protects us from damage. So if the coffee spills on your hand, you feel the pain. It's your brain communicating to you that there's a problem, so there's danger. Exactly. Exactly. So it prevents you, and instantly you start to take precautions. Now, talking about my inspiration behind my bestseller, I didn't write the book because I just felt I wanted to heal people from pain. I don't even think I had such a vision at the time. But I started my career with a lot of challenges. I graduated from the University of Lagos, and the first major job I got was at a renowned hotel. I was happy. I felt this was going to be a big break in my life. Unknown to me, I was going to work at the back area. So I was employed as a steward, as a waiter, and so I was subjected to mopping floors, clearing garbage, washing dishes and pots. Some of these pots I had to jump into it to even wash it. And as a graduate, it was I felt really, it was a dreadful experience for me. But I couldn't resign because somehow I felt, I didn't want to go back home. Life had been so short. I wanted a challenge. And that experience taught me a lot. I worked there for about a year. Some of my superiors at the time didn't even have my qualification. Some of them were school started with us, and they were my superiors. So it was really a humbling experience. Afterwards, I got another job working with a lawyer, and it was as though God just, handed me over to her and said, frustrate this guy. So the point is, prior to that time, I was like a lackadaisical, I was passive, I had no vision.
So that was the push.,
So the experience woke me up. So I use this phrase in my book that, when pain struck me, I died to who I was to give birth to who I'm still becoming, because I'm still evolving. So I died to be born again. And I suddenly had a vision, suddenly became intelligent, started learning, and after a while I just told myself, because there was also a period I was home, I was jobless for about 5 years. But that was the time I had time for the books, time for the tapes and personal development. And eventually I saw myself, I wrote the book, it sprung me out in the limelight. I've spoken at a lot of platforms, and even the name eventually, I was, given the name by my fans on the radio that, you're just so good and you have the right words. And so it came from a place of pain.
Okay.
It came from a place of pain.
Becoming a gift.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, your work as an emotional intelligence and wellness expert often involve helping people to navigate through difficult emotions. Now, what are some of the most common types of pain that people struggle with, and how can they begin the healing process? Okay,
so a major challenge we have as humans is that we have, because when we're born with a clean slate mind. You know nothing. When you're born as a child, there's a saying that everyone was born dumb, naked, and stupid. You were born dumb because you couldn't talk. You were born naked because you came out of your mother's womb naked. And you were born stupid because you didn't know anything. So everything you know now is as a result of the conditioning, the philosophies your parents, the environment, society has put in you. I tell people that sometimes if you go to Canada now and then you see maybe a cat, you'll be like, blood of Jesus. Why? Because coming from Nigeria, society over here sees such animals as diabolical. Do you understand? But these are just societal conditioning. So the major challenge we have is that we believe life should be a bed of roses. And it's a major mistake. Now the question I tell people, if you think your journey in life will be smooth, then why do you have a spare tire in your boot? Have you ever thought about that? You have a spare tire because you anticipate bombs or somehow something is going to happen. Even a pastor who inspires his members and says he's still going to take a spare tire. Why? Because he anticipates. And I tell people that a lady called me one time ago, and a lady, and she was like, our pastor tells her, have faith and all that. This is not to negate what they say in church. I'm actually a Christian. But there's a twist to it. So she was like, anticipating problems in the year, is it not being negative? And I said, okay. As a pregnant woman, anticipating pain during labor, is that being negative? She said, no. And I said, of course, anticipating pain is being positive. But here is the twist. The scripture says there will be tribulations in this world. However, you would triumph. So anticipate the problems, but the positivity is you will triumph over the problems. So you see that even in the Bible says that God shall not test us, somewhere in 1 Corinthians 10:13, that God will not test us beyond what we can bear. He will always find a way for us to. The Quran has something similar in Surah Baqarah 2:86. It says, on no soul would Allah put a burden more than he can bear. The Buddhists, it cuts across all religions. So you see, because we have this belief that things are supposed to be smooth. When you suffer divorce, when there are challenges at work, when you get sacked, you get upset. Why should you get upset? You should just think that, this is perhaps one of those punches or blows that life wants to deal with, but that you need to sort of get yourself. So the thing is, I always want to correct that notion, that philosophy that they have. They struggle. I was in a therapy session with a lady recently, and while we were talking, she suffered divorce, and I told her that a successful life does a successful life mean that you're not going to go through challenges? Because I now had to recall, there's this pastor, I think it's Kenneth Hagin, not Kenneth Hagin, one of the other ones. He has had 3 marriages. 3 marriages. He's in his 3rd marriage, and he's renowned. So I brought up this case, and she was like, when she heard, does it make him any less of who he is? Do you understand? The hallmark of a truly successful, when you say you're victorious, it means you have to fight battles, right? To emerge victorious. So to be successful, you are going to have to
have failures.
So that's the major challenge. That's the major. It's the change that we have. Accepting that this is a reality. When you're leaving the house this morning, you left early enough anticipating that you could be caught in traffic.
Yes.
Something could happen, anything can happen, and at least when you leave early and such circumstances occur, you are able to still make it in time. That's how life should be. So that's the major thing I tackle, the wrong wiring they have in their minds.
Okay, so for a number of our followers who probably saw the promo to this program, and it had pain in it, you'd be the first thing that would probably pop up in their heads would be physical pain or something, and now, so how does emotional pain differ from physical pain, and are the approaches to healing from these different pains are they similar, or?
Yes, they are all, as humans, of course, we're made of body, soul, and spirit. Yeah. So physical pain, of course, eats your body. Emotional pain, it's your soul.
Okay.
Now, when someone sustains an injury, of course, you are likely to know that, oh, this person is in pain. Just like the lady, the previous guest, who she said she has pains, and you would perhaps see her LinkedIn or something. But the challenge is when someone is suffering from emotional pain, you cannot tell. And naturally, when you ask people, how are you? It's always like, you just tell you, I'm fine. And sometimes people will fake that smile and you wouldn't know. Sure. And you're trying to conceal something that really hurts you. Even, sinks you into that pain more. Because naturally, we want to unburden ourselves. We want to be able to tell people, we want empathy. We want people to, how sometimes people give you that hug, people sympathize with you, even though the pain doesn't leave, it makes you feel better. Do you understand? Yes. You can't get that. Now, unfortunately, the brain, the way it's wired or designed, cannot tell the difference between you being stabbed and you suffering from divorce. It cannot tell the difference between physical pain and emotional pain. It's the same. But what makes emotional pain worse is because it's invisible to the eyes. Yeah. Sometimes you may not even know that you are. Sometimes you just sort of become, imagine a man who is sacked from his work and is upset and he just wants to man up and bottle up the emotions. But he gets home and then maybe his child is trying to play with him and then he just transfers the aggression. He doesn't know that he's in pain. And he's now even becoming a pain to his family. So that's what even makes it worse. Actually, it's even much more because psychology, you never find someone perhaps who has an accident, crippled, and say, I want to take my life. More often than not, when people go through psychological, emotional pain, that's when they want to commit suicide because they've had it up here and they just want to give up.
Wow. Okay, so let's get some practical solutions. You're a therapist, a cognitive behavioral therapist. Are there techniques that you recommend for individuals who are dealing with chronic emotional pains?
Okay, so yeah, of course, there are a lot, and my favorite, I call it my favorite because it changes, it does the magic. So it's called cognitive reframing, and essentially it's about changing the way you see things. There's a quote that says by Dr. Wayne Dyer, when you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at, they tend to change miraculously. Now, for example, the scenario I often give wherever I speak and all that, I say, okay, if a family loses a loved one, to the family, it's a pain. Yeah. They'll feel bad. But when you go to the coffin seller, will you see it as a pain? No, it's a gain. If that coffin seller were to be a Christian, he will go home, and tell, go home, thank God,
give testimony,
go to church, give testimony. Wow. Do you understand? It's a blessing, and he would even say, God, bless me more. Do you understand? More blessings. What would more blessing translate to? More death. Every mechanic or mechanical engineer that wakes up in the morning and opens his workshop, what does he pray for?
Faults from vehicles.
But when your vehicle breaks down, it hurts you. Yes. So I came up with a quote that says, life is designed on the fabric of pain. The way the world was made, one man's pain is another man's gain. Yeah. For you to gain, someone else somehow has to be in some sort of discomfort. If you pray for illnesses and sicknesses to go away, what you're unconsciously praying for is that we should have no doctors, no nurses, no physicians. Is that possible? It's not possible. Do you understand? So what this essentially tells you is that there are different perspectives to life. That thing you're seeing is not all there is not all there is. There's a different angle to it. If you watch football sometimes, at some point they will say, okay, the ball is offside. Then what would they do? They will tilt the camera to see from a different perspective. They'll say, oh, it's not an offside. Play on. Do you understand? So that's how life is.
So that's one.
Yeah, that's one. Changing the way you see things.
Okay.
Secondly, focus on the positive. There will always be positives and negatives. Do you understand? Overheard the previous guest talking about marriage and all that. Are there positives in this guy you want to marry? You know, no one is perfect, or even in this situation, are there positives that you can hold on to? If there are positives, hold on to those positives, because there's something called the reticular activating system, such that when you focus on something, you expand it, it magnifies it.
Yes.
That's why if you buy a pair of shoes, you suddenly start to see it everywhere around you, and you start wondering, before I bought this car, it wasn't never. So what happened was your mind focused on it, and then your mind, because it noticed that you focused on it, it starts to show you more of it around. So anything you see around you is not to what there is. It's what you're focused on. So you're focused on problems, it shows you more problems. That's what psychologists say. Yes, that's number 2, focus. Number 3, focus on what you can control. So the analogy I often give is when people watch football and somehow they want to go into the TV and hit the striker score or get upset, that's insanity. Because from where you're seated, you can't control something that is played in Europe. Do you understand? But we do it in our lives. It's raining and you're upset. The dollar is increasing, you're upset. Can you do anything about it? It's beyond your control. So focus on that which you can control.
Now I have to be upset.
You have to be upset. What can you do? What can you control? Do you understand? So if you focus on that, you're only going to go insane. What can you do? Okay, I can perhaps use solar, or find alternatives.
Yes.
And the point is, other things you can control are your choices, your decisions, your thoughts, your perception. And when you focus on this, you can have some sort of influence on those other things you cannot control. You can focus on prayer and somehow alter the other things you cannot control. So that's the third one. You want another one?
We're good for now. We're good for now.
Yeah. Actually, this is you really modified one's perspective to
see, the moment you change, you see the pain.
Yes.
The pain is not anywhere. The pain is here. The mind is where the pain is. The challenge is, you see, people think we are our mind. It's your mind that is hurting you, but you are not your mind. You are not your mind. Sometimes do you examine your thoughts? Sometimes do you examine how you feel? If you were your mind, can you examine it? It's not possible. You are not your mind. Your mind is something you pick and you use. And when you're done, you put it aside.
Yeah.
So these are techniques that, you see, it's difficult, but it requires training. And when you're able and you condition yourself this way, trust me, I'm not saying you wouldn't feel the pain, but I'm saying that it wouldn't overwhelm you.
So, in other words, you're saying that we can convert negative to positive,
yes,
and thereby propel ourselves in the direction that we wish.
Exactly.
Great.
One man says, oh, I came from a poor background, and that's why I'm like this. And that man says, I came from a poor background, and that's why I will not become poor.
Yes.
Do you understand? It's perception.
Yeah.
It's all how you perceive it, how you see the narrative.
Your strength and what is driving
Exactly.
you. All right, so in your best-selling book, you discuss the idea of pain being transformative. Can you elaborate more on that, and how we can use pain as a catalyst for personal growth? You shared your experience. How can another person use pain for personal growth?
So it starts with the ideology, the philosophy, knowing that these things are normal. Do you understand? Like I said, the quote at the beginning, that it's only when you die that you stop to feel, that you stop feeling pain. There are four reasons the Buddhists, they came up with something called the Four Noble Truths. And the 4 reasons why you go through pain till you die. The first is the pain of childbirth. The second is sicknesses, illnesses. You would experience them at some point. The pain of old age. At old age, the way you used to run when you were 20 years ago is not the way you run now. Do you understand?
That's physical.
So,
even the
yes.
emotional one is more.
Yes. Then death. I had a fifth one, bills. Till you die, you pay bills. And it's painful. Do you understand? So you see, it begins with the acceptance. Once you accept this, it no longer becomes, it no longer is as painful as it should be. Yeah. It's like you knowing that you're going to encounter traffic going home. You know it's always a 1 hour traffic, but you know you're prepared for it. When you get into it, would you feel frustrated? No. When you get into it, you perhaps just tune into your radio or you do something, you read. Do you understand? The pain is there, but it no longer has an effect on you. Now, transforming it is now finding other ways to navigate. There's a reason why the Braille system that we use, that blind students use, I don't know if you've ever seen them, with needles and all that. The person who invented that Braille system was blind himself. He was trying to solve a personal problem, and he ended up inventing something that has revolutionized the world. The reason why someone like Joyce Meyer haven't been raped, suffered a low self-esteem, raped by her own father, suffered divorce, encountered cancer and all that, and now everything our ministry now revolves around everything she's been through. There's a reason why Kanu Nwankwo started a heart foundation, because he himself had a heart disease. So, do you understand? What do you make of what happens to you? Or you have a headache, or you're tired, or something happened and you don't want to go to work, you don't want to live life again, then that's taking a toll on you.
Wow.
The strength is to move or to act in spite of your challenges. That's how you can transform pain.
I'm a little envious of you, because the way you've broken all of this down. And I'll tell you the reason. I heard about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, maybe about 25 years ago. And it was my wish to study and go into NLP. Now, from all that you have told us, how much of that influence, has NLP had on your perception of all this? Because I've followed your works, and the angle from which you emerge, with each is so interesting. Tell us a bit about NLP itself.
Okay, so let me start by using this analogy. What a seed needs to become a tree is already inherent in that seed. Everything you are to become starts from within. Well, it does not mean that the seed does not need water, fertilizer, and the likes. Yeah, so I had the gift naturally, but I still needed to sharpen my axe with all these things. I still needed to lean or to stand on the shoulder of giants, mentors, to help me develop what I have. So NLP, of course, is one of those tools like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming that helps you, enhances your skill sets. And it's not necessarily or restricted to just therapy, psychologists. Everyone needs it. Yes. Because it helps you manage yourself better, helps you with programming, a lot of things, you understand? So there's more to learn, do you understand?
Helps you with conditioning.
There's more to learn. Isaac Newton will say, what we know in this world is only a drop, but what we don't know is an ocean.
Okay, so we've got to go. 30 seconds. Just your final word. 30 seconds.
So yes, regardless of what we go through in life, the essence is not to pray. You can't pray away pain. You can only pray for the strength to endure pain. So I tell people that regardless of what you're going through, grow through what you go through. Grow through what you go through. Thank you very much.
Grow through what you go through. And that is very deep. Yes. I mean, it takes... Yeah, I got you.
And indeed, like you said,
become better.
Yes, like you said from start, as long as we're alive, there will be pain.
Yes.
Learning how to deal with it is absolutely a necessity, and that's what you have helped us, with more techniques and all of it. And we'd like to say thank you very much.
Yes, and I believe that we've only scratched the surface, really, and we'll explore other areas during your next visit, Tosin. And today has been very very exciting, exciting too. Thanks so much for being
Thank
here.
you, and you look so calm, You look so calm. We're learning how to be as calm as you do. All right. And with that, we'd like to draw the curtain on today's edition of the program. Just one more session, and we shall call it a day, and that is what JS used to take us out of the show. He calls this his nuggets for those who are willing to learn more about public speaking.
Yes, I've always said that when I grew up, I like to be someone like Tosin. So I have a few nuggets that I share with our viewers on every week. And today the nugget is this: that the greatest mistake you will make in life is fearing you will make one. So the fear of making mistakes is one of the greatest barriers to leadership and effective speaking. But here's the truth: mistakes are not the end; they are the beginning. They are stepping stones to growth, innovation, and untimely success. And I'm sure Tosin will agree with that. So as a leader, you're called to step up, take risks, and make decisions that may not always be perfect. In public speaking, for instance, the fear of saying the wrong thing can hold you back from delivering a powerful message. And remember too that every great leader and speaker has stumbled at some point. So what sets them apart is their courage to continue, to learn, and to improve. So embrace the possibility of mistakes. Mistakes will always be there. And use them as opportunities to learn and to show resilience. When you speak, you want you to speak with boldness and speak with conviction. And remember that it's through daring to make mistakes that you find your greatest successes. So if you want to know more about this, you can join Tosin and JS in the future.
Okay, you left me out. Good things, good thing. Now I know who my friends are. All right, I hope you got some very, very key words from that.
Yes.
Thank you, JS.
Thank you so much.
And my part in short, all success comes from a combination of implementation and knowledge. Knowledge alone is meaningless without action. Thanks for watching, and let's meet here again same time next week.
And that will be Helen's nuggets.
Yes, that will be my nuggets.
So thanks so much for being with us. I'm John and
Bye now.